It's the Friday before spring break, Muskies. I'm Hope Forgas.
And I'm Erin Kirby.
From the Xavier University Television Studio, this is Xavier News.
Short-range missiles fired from North Korea Thursday. The launch originated just north of the demilitarized zone between the two countries over the empty sea. The firing came just days after joint military exercises with South Korea and the United States. Analysts believe the act is a protest of an American nuclear-capable bomber that was trained during the exercises.
On Tuesday, President Obama announced that the Pentagon will begin planning a complete withdrawal from Afghanistan. Afghanistan's President Hamid Karzai has refused to sign a bilateral security agreement that would allow Western troops to remain past 2014. Few of the interested parties want to leave Afghanistan completely after 13 years of war, in which almost 3,500 soldiers have been killed and $700 billion has been spent. American intelligence officials have warned that insurgents could retake areas of Afghanistan in as little as a year after American troops are fully withdrawn. Pentagon officials also worry that Afghanistan will return to civil war that was seen in the 1990s.
United States Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel addressed concerns with Russian military exercises near the Ukrainian border Thursday. The secretary urged the exercises to be transparent in order to not lead into a miscalculation during this delicate time. This is after Russian President Vladimir Putin put 150,000 troops on the Ukrainian-Russian border and commanded Air Force on high alert. The Secretary of State John Kerry made a similar statement warning the Russians not to get involved in Ukraine. A Russian aide announced earlier this month that Moscow would intervene if necessary, accusing Washington of breaching the 1994 treaty that removed Soviet nuclear weapons from the Ukraine. Hagel told the press that it was important to, quote, keep the tensions down, end quote. After several protests in Kiev, armed men took over the government buildings in one of the outlying regions and raised the Russian flag. With the anticipation of spring break, TRIO is determined to keep students studying. Here's Bridget Rodriguez with more.
TRIO, Student Support Services, is an educational program funded by the United States Department of Education, whose goal is to graduate eligible students and prepare them for a post-baccalaureate education or career. Students must be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident and meet at least one of the following guidelines. Be a first-generation college student, meaning that neither parent or guardian has a bachelor's degree. Meet federal income guidelines as outlined by the U.S. Department of Education, or have a verifiable disability. One of the benefits that TRIO Student Support Services students are offered are writing tutors. These are not the typical peer tutors. They are Xavier English professors that volunteer 2 hours of their time to help the TRIO students. The writing tutors are available on Mondays from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. for drop-in sessions, and on Fridays from 3 to 5 p.m. for one-on-one sessions. TRIO Student Support Services is committed to providing an academic, professional, and personal support system that guides student participants to benefit from educational opportunities and achieve a greater quality of life. This is Bridget Rodriguez reporting from Xavier University.
Thanks, Bridget. Could we be living in space soon? Maybe. Last Wednesday, NASA announced the discovery of 715 new planets. 4 of these planets are what NASA refers to as habitable zones, meaning that they have potential to support life. The new technique used for locating planets is called verification by multiplicity. Unlike previous tactics, where the research would search blindly, this tactic focuses on stars that already have more than one planet in their orbit. Jason Rowe, co-leader of the research team, says, quote, the more we explore, the more familiar traces we find in space, end quote.
Republican Arizona Governor Jan Brewer vetoed a state Senate bill Thursday that would allow people with strict religious views to deny service to the gay community. The bill, according to Brewer, was, quote, broadly worded and could lead to unintended and negative consequences, end quote. Companies Apple and American Airlines, along with Senator John McCain and former presidential nominee Mitt Romney, appealed to the governor for a veto earlier this week. Similar legislation has been introduced elsewhere in the United States, including Ohio, but Arizona is the only state that has been passed by a state legislature. The effort was withdrawn from Ohio Wednesday, among concerns it would have unintended consequences. Arizona, however, remains with a ban on gay marriage.
On Tuesday, General Motors announced that it is expanding a recall of compact cars due to an ignition problem that has caused 13 deaths. The recall now affects 1.37 million vehicles built between 2003 and 2007. GM says the ignition on the vehicles recalled can accidentally turn off the car while it is being driven. When this happens, the car's engine shuts off, disabling power brakes, power steering, and airbags. Under current law, automakers are required to report safety defects within 5 days of discovering them. Ford had to pay the maximum fine of $35 million for not reporting the problem soon enough. In the meantime, GM is advising owners to avoid having anything other than their car keys hanging on their keychain. The added weight makes it more likely that the keys will accidentally turn. Well, that's all from the desk we have right now. Now we have Connor with sports.
Good afternoon, Xavier fans, and welcome to the Xavier Sports Report. I'm Connor Muldoon. First things first, let's congratulate the Xavier men's swim team on winning the Big East Conference Championship. The first Big East Championship for the university and the first time in the program's history of winning a conference title. Senior Chad Thompson took six medals home and was named the Big East Most Outstanding Performer. A total of 29 medals were won by the Musketeers. Also, head coach Brent McDonald was named the Big East Coach of the Year. The Lady Musketeer swimmers also had a great season, ending up with a third-place Big East finish. Caroline Stewart got the lone gold medal for the women, while 8 silver and bronze medals were won as well. McDonald said of the women, "Our goal was a top 3 finish, and they battled so hard the final day to make it happen. I'm so proud of their perseverance, and with such a young team, it's clear we have a very bright future." Congratulations to both teams on a terrific inaugural season. Xavier baseball has been off to a good start, with pitcher Adam Hall being named Big East Pitcher of the Week. He was given the honor after pitching 6 innings, giving up just 1 run, against the 12th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. Xavier ended up winning that game, which put them at 4-0 to start the season. Unfortunately, the next two games were losses to UNC, but the team's next game is tomorrow versus Dayton. The women's Xavier tennis team have took a 6-1 victory over Iwupui, extending their win streak to 7. Senior Andrea Wolf took her match at the number 5 position 6-0 for both sets. Following Wolf was Sydney Liggins, taking her match 6-2 in the first set and 6-0 in the second. Assistant coach Doug Matthews has been impressed with the team, saying, quote, "This team is so much fun to coach," end quote. The women will head off to play Davidson in Boca Raton, Florida. On the other side, the men unfortunately just broke their 5-game win streak with a loss to nationally ranked Michigan State. Sophomore Adam Krull was the only Musketeer to win his match with 3 close sets. Krull won the first set 7-6, lost the second 4-6, but came back to win the third set 10-3. Their next match will take them to Coral Gables as they will play the Miami Hurricanes. The Xavier men's club ice hockey team is bringing its season to a close. With a recap on the team's progress, here's Natalie.
This is Natalie Lindsay reporting for Xavier News Today. The Xavier Club Ice Hockey team has had a great season so far. They have a record of 18-4-3, and they have very high hopes for this season. Let's take a look.
Well, our biggest goal was to make it to the national tournament. It's been our target the whole season. We've gone from a team that had about 7 players on the team to a team that we now have 35 people. We have a taxi squad. So, if people get hurt, we got guys to replace them with. That was a luxury we never had my freshman year. We never dreamed about making to any tournament whatsoever when I was a freshman. And so to come from a team that was nothing to a team that's now nationally ranked is something that is a very big accomplishment. It's something that I'm really proud of.
Our second half of the season goal was to win out, and that was really important to us, and we just kind of fell short this past weekend, so hopefully we can continue and just kind of re-up and win out the rest of the season. I'd say overall we're a pretty strong team, just a lot of depth and things like that. Depth has really helped us out in a lot of games this year.
I thought the season went really well. Obviously this is probably our most successful season so far, and both our most competitive schedule. So, I'm just a sophomore here, and just from my freshman year to this year, it's been tremendous growth. We've played a lot more competitive teams, and I think we're heading in the right direction. I think we're still going to continue to try to achieve the goal of making it to the national tournament and trying to win a national championship. So I think that's the ultimate goal, and we're going to keep working until we get that.
Thanks, Natalie. Xavier Track and Field was in New York for the Big East Championship. Junior John Calabob broke the school record in the high jump as he cleared 2 meters, which is about 6.5 feet, finishing third in the event. The 4x400 meter relay team put together a personal best performance with a time of 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Sophomore Mercedes Oliver set 2 new school records in the shot put with a throw of 13.58 meters, just over 44.5 feet, and in the weight throw with a toss of 15.1 meters, about 49.5 feet. Sophomore Anya Edwards set a school record as well in the triple jump with a jump of 11.3 meters, about 37 feet. Both teams will start to prepare for the outdoor season, which will start on March 22nd at the Butler Invitational. Men's basketball played a must-win game at Madison Square Garden on Tuesday night against St. John's, and they did just that. The team was led by Jalen Reynolds, who put together a great performance, putting up 17 points and 16 boards, his first career double-double. The win gave Xavier sole possession of third place in the Big East with a record of 9-6 in the conference and 19-8 overall. Unfortunately, the women lost a close one to Butler in Indianapolis. The team was led by sophomore Aliyah Zant, who had 13 points, followed closely by senior Ashley Waninger, who had 12 points. The Lady Muskies are now 8-20 on the season with a conference record of 3-13. Both the men and women will take home court advantage tomorrow the women playing Villanova at noon, while the men will take on Creighton at 5 o'clock. So if you are staying on campus an extra day, head on over to Cintas to cheer on your Musketeers. Well, that's all I got here. From everyone in the studio, we wish you all a safe and happy spring break.